All right, we are here with episode 3 of the Skyline View. Sorry about the delay. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We got a couple fantastic guests here today with us. One from the newsroom, one a friend of the newsroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Diego, by the way, as usual. Here with
David Magat, your photo and opinions editor, and he's your
sports editor. That's
sports
right.
editor.
Of here, Skyline View. And would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
Sure. Well, my name's Kylea, and I started writing for the Skyline View this semester. And I'm all new to this, so I get to learn from everybody here.
What's your last name?
Pearson.
And then I'm Sean Sliger. I just kind of hang around, and I plan on taking journalism next semester, so I might be writing for the paper soon.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. And you should join journalism too. If you're
Definitely.
listening. So we got a lot of good topics as usual coming up. It's been a lot of time, like I said earlier, so we got a lot of stuff that's happened since then.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start off with some in-house stuff. The Journalism Club is going to have another fundraiser. We sold some churros and some hot chocolate on Halloween, and it was super hot.
Yes.
Didn't go as well as anybody expected it to, but it's all right. So we're going to try to bounce back with the movie night. We're gonna do the blanking on the name of the goddamn movie. What is it? It's about
Coco?
No. It's about the impeachment. All the President's Men. Is that the one?
No. We're doing the other one. We're doing Spotlight, I think.
Oh, we're doing Spotlight. Okay.
Spotlight.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good movie.
I think
Spotlight.
Spotlight.
All right. Do you know the location?
No, we'll get back to you on that, and we'll try to update you as soon as we can on our social media.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Because unfinalized location and time. But yes, just please come out, support the Journalism Club. We could use all the help we can as all the clubs on campus. You should always support that.
Exactly.
You guys in any other clubs besides journalism?
Mm.
I know you might not be in journalism club. I'm sorry.
I was involved in a club last semester. It was called, I believe it was called Young Americans for Liberty, and it was great. We had T-shirts and everything. We were the group with the big beach ball on campus. People were signing and stuff. Yeah, we gave out pizza and everything. It was a lot of fun, but unfortunately, I had to kind of split apart from it because I had a lot of work to do and things. But they have great opportunities for people to even travel to Washington without having to pay anything, just to represent the club, and it's great for a lot of different reasons. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely signed that beach ball. How about
it was very cool.
Yeah, I was kind of a part of it, the same with her, but as well, I didn't have that much time because of school and stuff. But their motives were very interesting.
Very cool.
They were all for free speech and spreading that message to a bunch of students and stuff.
Yeah, and aren't they on they're multi-campus too, right?
Oh yeah. They're really popular at Berkeley.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean it's just really cool. Plus they're they're welcoming of everybody with all different kinds of ideas. Nobody has to have the same idea. They just have to be fighting for the same the same purpose, free speech. And so that was what's cool about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we got the results in from the recent midterm elections.
Oh yeah.
Which were, a pretty substantial win for the Democrats. They gained some seats in the House of Representatives, but did not take over the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I was watching, I think it was Chris Kornacki break it down on MSNBC, he was talking about when you compare the midterm elections to the past, even all the way to the 1970s, it was the biggest gain for Democrats when the Republicans have the White House. So it was a really good comparison as far as where they were going with it. And a lot of people aren't giving it enough credit, I don't think, about how much of a substantial victory it was for the Democrats. Because, they want to kind of slide it under the rug, because they are going to hopefully enact some big, changes coming up, or, make some kind of impact, because what we've been going through recently is not ideal at all. I don't know. And then, you guys have any comments on that so far?
There were a lot of firsts this election, the youngest, woman elected, first Mexican American woman elected from state, things like that. We had a lot of firsts, which, regardless of party, was amazing. It shows an insane amount of progress, and it makes me really proud,
Yeah,
to be honest.
I know there was I think a Korean woman who won for the Republican Party.
Yeah, and first openly gay
in Southern
man,
California.
like,
Yes,
this
and that
whole
was
thing.
in Colorado, I
Yeah.
believe too.
Very neat.
It was
Yeah.
great.
And we had Dianne Feinstein incumbent. She retained her position as
For 24
you know
years.
for this another run. She's a beacon of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And just has held down that seat for so many years.
And Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom won. I have a
Yes.
fun fact about that.
Yeah.
It's back-to-back Democrat governors for California, first time since 1986 that's happened.
wow.
We're known as like this big blue state, whatever,
Mhm.
deep blue sea, all Democrats. But if we haven't had back-to-back Democratic governors since 1980, I think it was 6.
Yeah.
Then that would might tell you, a little bit otherwise about some of the inland counties and stuff that we have that are more red-leaning.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good that he won. Gavin Newsom, he's mayor of San Francisco. Did a good
Yeah.
job.
Mm-hmm.
That was lieutenant governor, right? I believe.
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
You guys have anything else to say? We'll get some props too, right? I don't know. You guys have any strong feelings about the props?
Prop 10 did not pass, but I think
Yes, it's a big one.
Wasn't that because there wasn't it wasn't as structured or as well structured as people hoped it would be? Like, I remember there being like a few issues on that, at least from what I saw on
Yeah.
the news.
Uh-huh.
Like, people were talking about like their strong opinions against it.
Yeah, it
And
definitely
so-
had a large opposition.
Yeah.
Just based on property owners, people who own property were for it. You know what I mean? And there's
Yeah.
a lot of those property owners.
Definitely.
Obviously, there's a lot of people who need affordable housing and want lower rent,
Yeah.
but there is also a lot of people who do own property and want to keep those rents
Yeah.
as profitable as they can. So it would have been great for a lot of people, especially those in need, to get that rent control, especially in some of the areas like we live in that have astronomical rent prices. But
Correct.
coming into the election, I didn't think it was going to pass, even though I personally did vote for it. What else? Measure W was a tax that was unapproved. That was going to be a half-cent tax over the next 30 years.
Was that for like large companies? Was that the one?
I think. I know it was. It was intended to help with roadways and congestion
right.
and traffic and stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's
Not
right.
Prop 6 though, but it was a different one.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be over a large amount of time, but a lot of people, anything that has another tax, they'll just vote no.
Yeah.
What else? I know there was. Let's see. What was another big
Which
prop?
proposition
Prop
was it
12
for?
was huge for
Oh
me.
yes.
Prop 12.
Yes. Farm animals.
It- So this was my first time voting.
Oh,
so
nice.
it was really important to me, and actually, getting to do research for the first time on things that I actually have the opportunity to change. So I came home from voting, and one of my family members asked me what I had voted for. Just normal conversation. But it was kind of weird because when I told them that I voted yes on Prop 12, because to me it's really important. Because the fact that these animals are being tortured just for our food, it just doesn't make sense to me. And so I was talking to one of my family members, and they were like, well, if you didn't know about it before and you ate chicken just fine, why should we change it now? And that it really got to me, because if we think about things that way, it just doesn't make sense. Why change things if things seemed good before, but you don't really see the heart of it? The fact that these animals are being tortured, they're being encaged insanely, it's completely inhumane, and we eat them. This is a protein that goes into our bodies. Shouldn't we at least treat them with a little bit of respect? To me, that's just how I saw it, but it surprised me to think that somebody could just say, well, who cares? I don't have to see it. So it's Prop 12 was huge for me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And when it was being campaigned for it to pass, they talked about the cleanliness and how it affects, the health of the animals and the antibiotics that go into the animals, and then we eat it.
And it's in our bodies.
Contributes to their immunities that certain viruses get, and then you get things that are immune to penicillin and viruses and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of externalities to treating animals bad that people don't think of that can impact you on a bigger scale. But on the other end of the spectrum, I have a friend whose uncle is a restaurant owner, and he voted no because he's just thinking, oh, that's going to make meat prices go up. For sure.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
no. That's affecting his pocket. You know what I mean? And like you said, there was the point of view where you were talking about, where people are saying, oh, why change it if it's the same now? And then there's the other side where they're just like, I don't want it to affect my profit margin or my income, so I'm just going to vote no because it's beneficial to me.
Yeah.
But as you can see, the the consumer has a lot of power, you know, in
Yeah.
that, because you know that's the person who would vote to pass that and does care about, because they're the one eating it and all that stuff. So yeah, that was a huge one.
Yeah.
As
And,
well.
I mean, what got to me was the fact that she said, why should I pay more money for these chickens to get treated like princesses? And I was like,
Yeah.
what did you just say? Like, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then bringing it back to the people, to the candidates, who won is Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony K. Thurmond, incumbent, won, running against Marshall Tuck, who is, you know, big business, big, whatever you want to call it, corporation guy who has been trying to get in to the California Education Department for years, who has a lot of, you know, ties to big charter schools, big private, big textbook, big, you know, stuff that isn't going to help the larger population, is only going to help the few, only going to help the wealthy, and that's, I don't think anybody needs more of that in California especially, let alone anywhere. But yeah, so that was great, you know, being at a school, being being involved in education. You guys have anything else on that election before we move on?
No, just as, do we know, like, the majority of, or is there, like, a statistic on how many people have, like, voted, like, in terms of youths? Do we know that yet?
I think we, on all the finalized elections, we definitely should have some demographic on that, but I personally don't know it, but I know that also there's some states that are still doing absentee ballots and stuff like that, but definitely, hopefully, I know we were talking a lot about in the newsroom the millennial numbers, how low they had been.
Yeah, they were like 17%.
Man,
So,
but that was this year? Or
So the last election,
Yeah.
2016,
Uh-huh.
the last major election,
Yeah.
the turnout rate for 18 to 24-year-olds, this was in my article, that's how I know this, but the turnout rate was 17%
Yes.
of 18 to 24-year-olds voted.
Yeah.
And that was for our president. And then not only that, but 42% were registered and only 17% voted.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with, you know, you automatically get, or not automatically, but you have a choice to register when you get your license. And, you know, there's a lot of drivers in that age.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully we worked on that. Hopefully we got that up. I don't know, do you guys have anything pulled up on that? That's okay, don't worry.
No.
We'll try to get that for next time. What do you got next? You got something for us? You got something?
Not really. About the elections? Not
No,
really.
no. As far as like next topic.
Next topic? Pretty much Apple devices. So you guys know that there's like a bunch of like new iPads are out, the new MacBook Air is out.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Retina
so
and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Apple, but you know.
Yep.
Samsung.
But it's big though, because when you think, because I had a MacBook Air before, now I have a MacBook Pro, and I can see that like a huge difference in the screen because I do have the Retina display. And you know, when you think about it, it's really not like, it's not something you really think about because the screen is a screen.
Yeah.
But with the MacBook, I remember when I went to the store, they kind of showed me that if you take the MacBook Air and you move the screen down, you can definitely see the difference in the displays.
Yeah.
And now the MacBook Air has that Retina display. And now it's like, you know, you don't lose something when you get the MacBook Air versus a MacBook Pro, you know, when it comes to what you can afford.
Yeah. Yeah, I just bought a MacBook Pro, was it 2 weeks ago? I bought it for my birthday. And I had no problems with it, besides the fact that I let it die. But that was because I used it all night and didn't charge it. It has really good battery life. And yeah, I've enjoyed it thoroughly. It's expensive, like Apple products are, but you know, once I got the new Mojave download, that was nice. A lot of new features on it. Got the night mode and stuff. Yeah, it's been really fast and everything. I know Matt hates Apple products. I mean, Mark hates Apple products.
I just don't like their business model.
Yeah.
I get that they have an ecosystem going on that's like really robust, and their technology is also pretty good. But then I feel like they have too much of an ego to actually, you know, like be
Improve.
Yeah, to actually be for their
I know.
for the customers.
And then if anything, like lowering the products, like I don't know. The one laptop that I really wanted to buy was the one that had the CD drive in it.
Yeah.
But then they got rid of it,
Like
and
years
so
ago.
I don't know. I just ended up getting this one. Plus, with a student discount, that definitely makes it good.
They do have a nice student discount, like on the Apple Care and everything like that.
And then you get Beats.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate Beats too. I hate Beats and because once you really think about it, Beats, they're good, but they're not worth the price of $200.
Yeah.
They're
No,
more,
I would not pay that.
Yeah, they're like $100, $150 worth of. They spend too much money on their
the
advertisement.
brand.
Yeah, on their advertisement. So if all that money that's being spent on their advertisement, not being spent on their the actual technology,
Yeah.
I don't see why.
So you're paying
why it's worth
$200
that
for
much.
something that could be like
$100,
$100.
yeah, $100. Yeah, like I bought my Sony MDR 950s, no, my 950s for 150, and they sound even better than Beats.
Yeah.
To be honest, they're less muddy. They have great bass. You can adjust the bass, and they're 150. A lot. Most of the time, they're less than 100. So yeah, so that's why I don't like Beats.
Yeah, I've noticed like the sound quality in my left ear on my Beats are like kind of fading away.
Yeah.
So
Also,
Yeah.
like
I know I hate
they're
when that
not
happens.
great quality too. Like if
Yeah.
you feel it, they feel plasticky. Yeah.
I can kind of see that.
I bought
Like the
Beats
feeling.
when they first came out. I don't know if you guys remember. Yeah, of course. When they first came
Yeah,
out.
we were alive.
Just making sure. Anyway, I was like, yeah, I'm on that. I'm gonna get the first drop Beats because I was a big Dr. Dre fan or whatever, and I was like, yeah, Dr. Dre's making headphones are gonna be great. So I bought them, and I had them, thought it was all cool. And my brother borrowed them because my older brother, because he wanted to look cool, and he was probably salty that he didn't have them yet. Anyways, shout out my older brother, Ronnie. Anyway, he was skating wearing my Beats, and he broke them. And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you," because he broke off one of the the cushions. You know what I mean? And he completely lost it. And so those were just sitting there for so long. It's like one of the most expensive things I had bought to that point because I don't know, not that old yet. Like 14, 15. Anyway, so it was super upsetting. And that was my first and last pair of Beats I ever owned because I just was too sad about it, and didn't want to deal with that again. I didn't want to have my brother take my Beats, but he got a pair, and I borrowed them from him. I didn't break them. But, and I went to Sennheiser after that, and then my Sennheisers got stolen. So I had bad luck with headphones. Anyways, Sennheisers got stolen, and then now I'm on Audio Technicas. But I do love music, so I'm always trying to get good headphones, good quality. I like nice quality mids. I like good quality highs. It's easy to find a headphone with tons of bass. I feel like it's the easiest thing to find, so I'm not looking for that, and I don't want the loudest headphone either. I just want good quality, If I want to put on some Vivaldi, I want to hear that violin super nicely, If I put on some hip hop, I want it to be not, So it's a high demand, but I think Sennheiser and Audio Technica do a good job.
It's always earbuds for me that just break easily.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually the cord end, the aux.
Yeah, I haven't got any of the cordless ones, but I've heard those are pretty good. The new, what is it called? The
AirPods.
The AirPods.
Oh, those, yeah.
But yeah.
They don't work with any other device
No,
other than Apple, right?
they work with Android, but it's more of a Bluetooth device, and it's not really. You lose the functionality, you lose the pause. You pull out one ear. You lose the touch capabilities.
There's touch capabilities.
It's you can hold it and then see what comes up, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. Yeah.
That is really interesting.
I know this is pretty dear to you. And the next one.
Oh yeah, freaking.
Stanley.
It was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday.
Dude, on Veterans Day.
On Veterans Day, my man.
He lived a full life though. 95.
Yeah,
95.
That's pretty solid.
That's pretty old.
And the last time I saw him in the movies, he still seemed very upbeat, very energetic. So
Well, he always is though.
yeah, so
There's Thanos.
yeah,
Thank God.
yeah, Thanos got him. Yeah, but I like to think of it as he didn't pass away, but more he finished. It's he completed a level in a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I will miss him so much. I love Marvel movies insanely, and his little cameos. I love them. And they make me smile, and it's sad to think that he's not going to be around for those.
There was somebody on the internet that suggested what if Deadpool were to take over Stanley's role as cameos, and he would step in the last Avengers movie and be like, "Oh hi, Spider-Man, it's me, Stanley." Yeah, how in Deadpool 2 when he pulled off the mask and it was Hugh Jackman's face.
Yeah, it's
he should do that.
That would be fun.
That would be good.
That would be funny.
But yeah,
Definitely
it's
a
too
legend.
bad.
Definitely a legend gone.
Yeah.
So many characters he created
He
and
created
influence.
He created a whole nother universe for us to escape.
Multiple universes.
Multiple universes, and unfortunately, heaven has gained another angel, but
Legend.
we have lost an amazing person.
I think
Yeah.
staying on kind of a not very sad note. We have fires going around all over the state.
I know.
I
It's
was
crazy.
just in Southern California this weekend, where they have a huge fire that is taking over tons of acres, destroying tons of houses. That has hopefully some containment. But when I got down there, we were super delayed because of smoke, and when we were flying in, you can see the fire line on the
my
left
God.
and right side of the window. And
Jeez.
just kind of, there was just this real silence over I mean, it was a nighttime flight, so obviously there's sleeping people, but you could tell, that the people were kind of waking up because we were descending, and the lights that came back on in the cabin, and everybody was just huddled to the windows, just looking at where you would usually see lights. You would usually see buildings or not buildings, but houses and civilization, and in little specks of light. You literally just saw flame, and every single light that you saw was just
crazy.
another fire, and it was just wow, it was such a powerful image. I took pictures on my cell phone out the window, but obviously those don't do it justice. And just the feeling of the plane was kind of weird. When you're sitting at the airport with the delay, you're thinking, oh, it's just a delay. You're just like,
Yeah.
You get up there and you're just like, this is a smoke delay. I'm delayed because people don't have their house and people lost their lives, and it's just it's a weird kind of. It's not just not just your average rain delay. I guess it just has a kind of eerie and obviously very, very sad.
Yeah, and
solemn
it's
feeling.
weird not being in that area though, but still being in California, because you go outside your door and you see the effects of it, but you're not there enough to actually physically see the fire and everything. You just smell it. You just smell all of it.
And then locally here we have the campfire that is up in Paradise, north of Sacramento. Now it's been proclaimed to be the deadliest fire in California history. 42 are confirmed dead, with over 200 missing. And
And that's a mainly elderly area. So that's another thing that people are worried about, are older relatives that are stuck out there.
Yeah.
And I just sold to a guy at my job, he was refurnishing his whole living room in Paradise. He's got his whole house there and everything. And that was just right before this happened. So I'm just trying to imagine that's insane.
Yeah, I know friends. I know I have a friend who recently purchased a house up there, and it's gone. And wasn't able to get any house insurance, and there's just so many things. This is such a reoccurring event in California now, where it's just it's really sad to think oh man, it's fire season, but every year we have a season where it's wildfires, but it seems like it's getting worse, and and it's because people are expanding into areas where it used to just be forest, and it would be a wildfire, and it wouldn't be a big deal because it was just not just a big deal, but trees would just burn, you wouldn't lose lives. And now that all these people are living there, it's just there is things you can do, but it's hard, because people are going to continue to expand out. People continue to move into California, then it's going to continue to grow outwards. And here it says controlled fires. They can combat it to a certain extent, but it's hard to see a long-term solution, to these ultra destructive fires that are just and my father was a firefighter. And he never fought wildfires. He only fought urban. He works in San Francisco. But the stories that some of his friends would come back with and just talk to him about is insane. When you just have this wall of flames that are just sweeping through cities or towns, whatever you want to call it. It's really, really
at a rapid pace too.
Yeah.
Oh, but what I meant by controlled fires, I read this article a while ago, and basically they were proposing the idea of having fires set in certain areas where there's dry bush, because currently the main policy that we use, especially down by Skyline, there's a little area where they actually had goats eating dead bushes and stuff. But a lot of people were saying a better way of preventing such massive fires from happening are actually small fires that can be controlled and just put out instantly in order to wipe out these get rid of dead brush. And then allow for newer and newer plants to come back. But it's also kind of it's a very difficult thing to put through, and it has been put through like a few times, but it's just controlled fires are difficult, and then even then you're still having smoke.
Definitely.
So and that's affecting people that have like lung issues and asthma and stuff.
Yeah, but it's better than hundreds of houses burning. You know,
Exactly,
and controlled fires is definitely part of the solution. You know what I mean? But it's not just like you know the president tweeted the other day about how we're not keeping up the forest enough, and that's why all this stuff is burning.
And it's our fault.
And there's all this, you know, facts about who owns the forest and who's supposed to maintain them, and it's not the state. But anyway, aside from that, there's a lot that people don't know about wildfires and how to contain them, or not contain them, but how to prevent them. And there's a lot that needs to, you know, be done looking into them in the future, so that this doesn't keep happening every year. Because if this happens every year, like Jesus, first of all, it can't. Like there's these communities aren't going to be recovered in a year. You know what I mean? They're going to still be burnt, and it's just like, I don't know. Hopefully, you know, California can work with, you know, there's arborists and everybody else who's involved to try to, you know, think of a long-term solution. That includes controlled fires, but you know, because that's go ahead.
Before we move on, quick break. Yeah.
Hello.
You guys were talking in your short, very brief break. You guys were talking about an article that you read.
Oh yeah, so we're changing the subject. Moving on. And you know, our wishes and thoughts with all those, you know, who were affected in the fires. You know, hope to a speedy recovery for them. But yeah, so we're moving on to you know, journalism. You know, close to home. My man Jim Acosta from CNN was treated very badly at the White House. You know, a very, you know, credible reporter, a very stand-up guy. You know, stand-up person, very factually correct.
Part of CNN. So
part of CNN. Yep, CNN reporter for plenty of years. Been covering the White House for 5 years.
Exactly.
And I saw it. I saw the interaction. I don't know if you guys want to give a quick summary of what you saw. You can go ahead.
Well, what I saw, so originally that morning I was on, I think it was Instagram or something, and you know, of course these videos pop up, and I saw the video, and it was the original that had come out, and I saw it, and I was like, man, you know, and I already formed my opinion about it. But I go out into the kitchen, and I'm eating breakfast. My dad comes in, and he's like, oh, did you see this video? He shows me an edited version of that video where it looks like he's, like, being really aggressive.
Oh, yes, I've
And
seen
so I was like,
I've
Dad, you are on the wrong page here. And so I had to show him the original video. And he was like, why would somebody do that? Why would somebody edit a video like that? What's the point? And I said, well, there's a lot of points. And so I explained that to him, and I remember I saw on Twitter...
To get that response that he gave you.
Exactly.
That's why they edited it.
And so that's what I saw. And then when I went on Twitter, there was, I cannot for the life of me remember who it was, but they were going on this whole rant about how he was assaulting her and this whole thing. And it was like a verified, like some other journalist that was there. And so that's why, and she's giving out this false information so that people will just, you know, want to see it. And then, but luckily, like all the people that I follow were like, this is incorrect. This is not what you should be talking about. And so that was my...
And the very next reporter was like, you know, I got nothing but good things to say about this.
And then Trump goes, oh, well, I'm not a big fan of you either.
That was hilarious.
Okay, but whichever side you place in this issue, you should still... We should all be siding on, like, he shouldn't have had his hard pass revoked. So earlier today... the White House has told multiple reporters that Jim Acosta's Acosta? Yeah, I think so. Acosta's hard pass was revoked, and people were asking them, oh, but is he still able to report? And they said, oh yeah, he can still get daily passes, but according to the Huffington Post, every time that he has tried to get a daily pass, like recently today, it has been revoked. They won't let him get a daily pass. So ultimately, they're denying his ability to cover the House, and that's not right. And a bunch of other news presses, like Fox is one of them, that just came out in supporting Costa and the freedom of press. And although they don't agree with CNN's like views and political views, they still agree that there should be a freedom of press.
Oh yeah.
And this demonizing of journalists is not correct. And like what we saw with Jamal Khashoggi.
Oh yeah.
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 Oh,
That's
yeah.
it's starting to get a bit rough out there for us journalists. Like we're young.
It's been rough.
It's always been rough. But
Yeah, but
like I
especially
feel
right
like
now.
now it's
It's even worse.
Yeah, so the United States has always had a culture of protecting journalists and holding up a free press. It's in our Constitution, and it's not in a lot of other countries' constitutions.
Mhm.
And there's a sense, there's a real sense of fear amongst future journalists that think if we don't have the backing of the United States as a free press.
Yeah.
As an absolute free press that is separate from the government, without influence from the government, where is there to go?
Yeah.
Where can you turn? Who is supposed to withhold absolute free speech that you can report to the people? If the president tries to continue and diminish the history of the press and journalism that the United States has built, it will have reverberating effects and lasting effects that will never be able to be undone, because nobody wants a free press that is in power. No leader, no person that has absolute power wants their actions to be reported on and wants it to be truthful and wants it to be just or wants to be held accountable. They want to be able to do whatever they want and just wash their hands when it's done and then continue spending money or ruling countries.
Yeah.
The only way that doesn't happen everywhere is from journalism. And it's from press, and United States is one of the very few places that it really you can do that still, and we still have that, and it's that's why I went into journalism, because I know that if I have this real sense that if I don't do it, who else will?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And there's so many people who come out to me when I say I want to be a journalist, and they say, "Are you sure?" And I say, "I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Like I'm here. Like don't ask me if I'm sure." Like
I know.
And I just seeing stuff like this, it makes my blood boil, as you can see.
It makes my stomach churn almost a little, like feeling that we're being like looked down upon, even though we're trying to be the ones
we're just
spreading.
A platform.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're just trying to get the right information
but
out there
it's
for people
because,
to create judgments.
People just assume that journalists are greedy and that we just want a cut line. We just want a quote. This whole thing is like, no, we're doing our jobs because we're passionate about getting proper news out there and getting the truth out there to the people who need it. Because there's a lot of people who do not know that they need it. And so I did. I'm currently working on an editorial for this next edition, the Cub edition, and the editorial is about journalism's impact. And I found this data that I was very shocked by. So apparently, between now and 2015, I believe it was, there's been a 3,800 journalism decrease. Basically 3,800 people have stopped being journalists. They've dropped out of their schools. They've left their jobs because they're absolutely terrified. And that is amazing to me. The fact that people can be so scared to write how they feel in a world where we're supposed to be able to write how we feel. The fact that they would just, drop everything that they love and something that they care about just because they're scared of something that's supposed to be free.
Yeah, even just that little run-in during your abortion article and the comment that one of the pro-life guys made on the website. That was even scary to me.
One?
What was his name? The one that
Don
said,
Blake.
"Oh, you didn't."
The guy who left the comment?
Yeah. That one.
I mean, on the anti-abortion article, I was unbiased. I wasn't trying to put my opinion out there. I was basically taking what I had with the interviews that I had and put it out there because that's the material I got, right? And I wasn't, swaying any other way. I was just trying to get it out there. And essentially, after we posted it, we got that essay-long comment from Don Blythe, and he's a part of the organization. And he basically said that I misquoted him. I, got my information wrong. But when we checked it, everything was right. And so it's people like that, they are scared of the press. But if the press is scared of the people, then we're not going to have a good medium here. Yeah. And so, just because of his comment doesn't mean I'm going to stop writing. But there are journalists out there who will stop writing.
Yep, and you can't do that. If and people like that, it's a lose-lose. Even if you said it perfectly, we would have still been mad. Because he came into that interview.
Yeah,
pissed
that
off,
just means I did my job right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have anything else to add before we move on from Jim Acosta?
No.
Sure.
Other than it would be really cool to see more people join journalism, but
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
We're here.
CRN is literally
Please,
the easiest one ever. 4.
Dude,
That's the CRN.
4, 5.
Alright, so we got
5 4s.
Bay Area sports. Got a lot of different stuff coming up.
Yeah.
The Warriors beat the Hawks last night on the back end of a back-to-back. Lost to the Clippers in OT. The night before that, there was a big hoopla at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond should have called a timeout, in my opinion, but he drove past Kevin Durant, who was clearly wanted the ball, and lost it, turned it over. After the OT ends, Warriors lose. Kevin Durant and Draymond are still talking about it. They go into the locker room, still talking about it. Steve Kerr and the rest of the organization decide to suspend Draymond for behavior that is detrimental to the team coming into the game with the Hawks. So, this wasn't a punch. This wasn't an altercation with the coach. This was an altercation with another teammate. So he would clearly have had to say something pretty out of line to be suspended for a game, especially on the back end.
We don't know what that was.
Back to back. No, athletes like to keep that stuff, close. Kevin Durant skipped media day after the OT loss, which is something he has, I think, never done in his career before that. Last night he came out after the Hawks game, publicly, addressed the press, was clearly not feeling it, had a hoodie on, was really quiet, not his usual self, not his usual, he's usually a pretty energetic guy. A lot of people asked him about the altercation, and after the fourth question, he's like, is anybody going to ask about the game? He's sick of it. He clearly doesn't want to talk about it. He did say that he had not spoken with Draymond since then, and they had already, clearly they're trying to, give each other some space, trying to talk it out. They have a pretty, documented history of having a passionate, they both, passionate about the game, obviously. They've gotten into it before. But hopefully they can hash it out, man. We want one of the best teams ever. We're trying to keep it that way. We got Kevin Durant's going to be a free agent coming up. Supposedly that's what the comments were surrounding around, talking about, I don't know, maybe we were winning before you got here or something like that. I don't know. But got to cool it. Got to fall back, Draymond.
This can't be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Got to be cool. I love Draymond. I got a jersey for my birthday. It's lit. The town one. He lost us the game that day I was wearing it. But it's all right. It's cool. You know what I mean? Still getting numbers. Just come back. Clay said it'll be in the past like a ponytail after the win streak. So hopefully that happens. Good game last night against the Hawks. Yeah, we won. Kevin Durant put up 28, something like that. Curry was still out, so we only had Durant and Thompson. You guys watch the Warriors at all?
I didn't watch the Warriors game, but I caught glimpses of the Niners game.
Nice.
And that was...
Yep. Not nice. Actually.
Not nice.
Not nice. Niners lost again.
Nice.
Had a good first half though.
I know. But then towards the end.
We got the God. Do you know the name of the quarterback? I keep forgetting. Third string Mullen. I think it's Mullen. Third string guy. He's coming in. He got the win last week against the Raiders, but the Raiders are the only team that's worse than us. So that doesn't tell you a lot. But yeah, got the win against the Raiders last week. Came out this week. Lost to the Giants, which is another trash team. We're 2-8. I'm going for the first round overall, so I hope we keep losing.
Yeah.
Not first round overall, first overall pick. So hopefully we keep losing for that. I like football, but Niners have almost become unwatchable.
Yeah.
They're just bad.
It's really
Gotta fire the
hard.
defensive coordinator. What up?
I mean, they're one of those
God.
Robert Saleh. Done.
No more.
It's one of those things that
Our defense is garbage. Dude, okay, there was a play on Monday night. Were you watching it? They throw to Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham is on the left side. He's in single coverage. There's a man next to him getting double teamed. I don't even know his name because he's that much of a non-factor. Goes, gets burnt, drops the pass, and I'm like, okay, they got to double team him now. He just got burnt. There was an overthrow. He's going to line up again, single coverage, and throw it right back to him, same exact play, touchdown. What? You didn't do anything different. You ran the same scheme twice, and the dude, I think it was Witherspoon who was D'ing him up, literally didn't even try to press, was just waiting for the guy behind him to come help, who never showed up. Anyway, Let's not talk
just
about
bad.
Niners.
Yeah, no more.
I'm done. I hope we get first
Alright.
overall pick. We want Bosa. We're gonna rush the edge. Okay? Things we're checking out. What's up, Mark?
Okay, to kind of calm things down, you're kind of like heated right now. You're like super red. Too. So yeah.
Passion. It
Yeah,
is
it is
passion.
passion. We need more passion.
2-8.
2-8.
Oh.
I need to start watching those games just because I want to see
Wish
how
I
bad.
could. I'm not at work.
Yeah.
What? Oh. Just record them.
But
Or YouTube.
yeah, so some things we're checking out. We were talking about headphones earlier, like Beats, and since I was kind of trashing Beats a bit more than I wanted to today, I kind of wanted to recommend some headphones that I think are worth checking out. The ones I mentioned were the Sony MDR 950 N1s. Those are really great headphones. They're under $200. They're noise canceling. It's okay, but you're buying those for the bass. If you are coming from the Beats headphones and you're like, these are just way too expensive, these guys will do you very well. You can also adjust the bass with the app, but if you also don't want the noise cancellation and you want it for a cheaper price, the BTs, the 950 BTs are the way to go. They're cheaper and they don't have noise cancellation, but they're a lot, more friendly on the wallet, on your wallet. The second headphones are the Sennheiser 450, which is the 450s. They are really good noise cancellation. They're Bluetooth headphones. They're a flatter sound signature, but they're not super flat. So they're priced around like $200, maybe a little bit less. So they're a good entry level headphones if you want to get into the noise cancellation.
Are those wireless?
Yes,
Nice.
but they do work with a wire without turning them on. So if you like run out of battery,
Oh, that's
You can
good.
just
Yeah.
like
With the aux
aux
or whatever.
cord.
yeah, I mean
Yeah,
the same thing for
nice.
the 950s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
So it's wireless or wire.
yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Oh.
so yeah, good price. And the last two are wired. So if you are more of you like a video editor or you just like wired audio, the Audio Technica ATH M40s or M50Xs.
Like untangling stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but like, they're, if you are around the internet and you are discovering like Audio Technica cannot be foreign to you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no.
yeah. So.
18.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I have Audio Technicas. I spent like $50 on them, and they're great.
Yeah. Which ones did you get?
I want to.
I'm guessing 20s.
Probably the M20s, yeah, because they were literally like the cheapest ones on Amazon. Audio
Yeah, the
Technicas.
20s are
cheapest ones.
20s are really good.
Yeah,
20s are really
they were
good.
solid. I still have them.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'll check that out then.
yeah.
You need a good set of headphones.
Wired.
The wire is long.
Wired
though.
one.
So
Ones,
the
yeah.
M20 is very long.
The wire is really long.
No,
I don't
yeah,
know.
That's why I'm recommending either the
Yeah.
M40X or the
Okay.
M50X, but you're gonna adjust the wire.
Yeah.
You guys check them
Oh,
out.
cool.
Oh, neat. Okay.
You guys have anything to say before we close up?
Do we want to talk about Toy Story and
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 Detective
Detective Pikachu?
Yeah.
I saw the Toy Story 4 trailer.
Yeah, it was more of like a teaser,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they came up with another trailer today.
The one with the Key and Peele.
Yeah, Key and Peele, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you-
Key and Peele were like
so
stuffed
funny.
animals,
Like
and
at
they
a
were
carnival
talking
game?
about Toy Story 4,
Yeah.
and they were like, "What? They got another
Yeah.
one?" And it was like a
That's
regular
awesome.
Key and Peele stand-up.
That's awesome.
It was good, or skit, I mean. But yeah, that was pretty interesting to see. But honestly, I don't know how I feel about another Toy Story. Do you?
Yeah, same
Would you
here,
want to see
like-
one?
No, like I know why they want to do it. Like they want to make money and they want to
Yeah.
they want
It's
to
Disney.
capitalize.
Yeah,
But like
I love
like
Pixar though.
yeah, Pixar
Pixar
is.
is good.
I feel like Pixar is the company that can do no wrong.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I
I'm not
have
against it.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
faith, but I don't necessarily want.
I don't want it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be interesting where they take the story though, because
Yeah.
like now
Andy's
it's
gone.
yeah. I wonder if
Well, he
like
gave them to that girl, right?
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
girl, his neighbor.
I wonder if something happens where like they
Or
get
she's grown
stuck
up
in
now,
the
she's forgotten
carnival.
about him, like-
No, I think they might like get stuck in a carnival and then they have to talk to like all the other stuffed animals. That's why we saw Key and Peele.
Yeah, totally
Yeah,
fine.
that would
Oh,
be
yeah.
interesting, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But Detective Pikachu.
Like,
A lot of my friends said like, "Oh, I thought it was like a joke. I thought it wasn't even gonna happen." But
it's happening.
it's
Yeah.
actually happening. It's
I'm
like
not
there.
not much into Pokemon.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
I know my way around it. I'm pretty excited. Like Ryan Reynolds as as Pikachu. I'm pretty happy about.
Yeah,
funny.
a little
Yeah.
short
It's like tiny
mouse
Deadpool. It's
creature.
like electrical Deadpool.
Like,
yeah,
little-
he sounds exactly like Deadpool. So
That's gonna
Yeah.
be funny then.
it's gonna be
the trailer's
weird.
actually really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like apparently the main character is able to talk to like Pikachu, only Pikachu.
Oh, like a
but-
Ted thing? Oh no,
yeah.
Ted can talk to everybody.
No, but
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's the only one who can understand him.
Yeah,
Oh.
he can only understand and talk to him.
Okay, I see. I
But,
see.
like,
I gotta check it out.
yeah.
That sounds interesting.
It's funny.
It's a pretty weird
Yeah.
like trailer because like if you're familiar with Pokemon, they look nothing like the cartoons.
I'm gonna look
they
a
look
little bit. A little
bit, but like
to resemble it, like you can be like, oh, that's Psyduck or that's
that's Charizard.
But not. But it's still kind of like looks weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that'd be hard to
it
do
looks-
a Pokemon. I never thought about it. This is like live action, or is like
Yeah, it's live
action,
Yeah,
all
that's
CGI.
insane.
and
Yeah,
they're all CGI
That's
and
crazy.
like they have like such realistic like looks.
Yeah, like they have like actual fur on some of them. And
Yeah.
like, some have like actual like,
yeah.
scales. I'm like,
Kind of freaks
Whoa,
me out.
that's
a bit.
kinda weird.
you know,
Yeah.
Psyduck. When I first saw Psyduck, I was like, that looks really creepy. I don't know if kids will actually come to this movie.
Yeah, I
Psyduck looks
feel
really
like
creepy.
I would get creeped out by that movie like as a child, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, I think that's all we kind of have to say, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming, Kylie and Sean. It was great having you on the View. The
That's
update,
fun. Update from the
Great.
View.
update from the View.
Yeah.
I can't talk today.
It's Wednesday. We're all just
Yeah.
all just want to go home.
But we'll be back sooner than this last gap. It was really big. We had a special edition come out. We had a lot of stuff. If you're still tuning in, thanks for that. And we'll be back at you with some more good stuff in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.